Hey guys, it's Kevin over at jazztime.com. Jazztime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. We offer the lowest prices anywhere online, and if you want to know the price of the watch, simply click on our links in the description below. If you enjoy our videos, we greatly appreciate it if you buy a watch from jazztime.com once in a while. Today we'll be reviewing a special limited edition Omega Seamaster Diver 300M. This is the 007 edition, specifically for a movie that actually has not come out yet as of today. It's scheduled to be released in November 2020, and that movie is the No Time to Die 007 film, which I believe features Daniel Craig's last film as James Bond. As with the other releases, such as the Spectre movie, Omega has decided to make another 007 watch specifically for this film, No Time to Die. We'll be going over the dial, bezel, case, crown, strap, buckle, and we'll be talking about the movement towards the end of the video. Alright, so jumping right into the dial. As this is a limited edition watch, this is the only dial configuration you can get for this watch. You see sort of circular arrow markers for the 1, 2, 4, 5, so on and so forth, indices on the 3, 6, 9, two parallel indices at the 12 o'clock position to help with easier reading of the dial. As for landmarking reasons, you can easily 12 the 12 o'clock direction, and the of course 3, 6, and 9. The dial itself is on the manufacturer website considered a brown dial. Luminous. They are all luminous film with a sort of cream colored luminosity. And I can actually show you the luminosity of the watch itself. So let me go ahead and charge the luminosity there, and let me shut off my lights. And there we are. So very awesome luminosity, as you can see. This is a sort of a bluish green tint of luminosity, not just a full green luminosity. One thing to mention is that luminosity on the bezel as well. Absolutely gorgeous. The Arabic 10, 20, 30s all the way around with the indices, and even this sort of dot indices underneath all of that, as well, matching with the hour hand, minute hand, and the seconds as well. Just very beautiful luminosity and very unique style of it in general. So if you're looking at this watch at night, let me go ahead and close that up a little bit more. Try not to use too much of my hand here to block it off. You can see very beautiful, very gorgeous luminosity. This is what people will see on your wrist at night, and that's just completely awesome. So let me go ahead and turn the lights back on here, as that's not the only thing to talk about. A minute and hour hand themselves are sort of skeletonized in the center, only marked by circular indices at the very tips for the hour, at triangular for the minute, so you can be able to discern between the two if you cannot at a glance. Besides that, text is written on the 12 o'clock position with the Omega symbol, Omega name, Seamaster in the red, and the professional underneath this Seamaster in the red. At the 6 o'clock position, we have, as typical of Omega, coaxial master chronometer at the 6 o'clock position with a water resistance of the 300 meters, as you know, it is a Seamaster 300M, so 300 meters or 1,000 feet as it states. And one peculiar thing at the 6 o'clock position of these limited edition 007 watches is this sort of broadhead arrow. Now, I'm not a military expert, so don't sort of gouge me out for this. Just doing some quick research that I've done on this. This is a sort of a British military issued symbol, where I did see some folks talk about how did Omega even get the ability to place the symbol on here, as there is, quote unquote, the British government is very picky about who can actually use this symbol. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not an expert on that specifically, but it could possibly be a throwback to James Bond himself, when he himself was in His Majesty's Armed Forces, and that's where the symbol also comes from. So very cool little unique thing about this specific James Bond edition watch. And it really stands out, and really stands out against everything else. Whereas you kind of would say that the text itself is kind of mundane. You would see that on any Seamaster 300 meters, but that sort of limits, being a limited edition, that very beautiful brown dial with beautiful cream coloring, and then just the popping of that symbol that just stands just very quietly out of place. It just adds a little bit more to the dial of the watch than you would typically see. One thing I like to mention here that I really like about this watch in terms of the dial is that the crystal itself is a domed crystal. But one nice thing about the dome of crystal is that the outer edge of the dome, typically when you see a dome crystal, it like domes all the way to the center, but the dome sort of plateaus, and then it domes around the edges and sort of encapsulates the sort of edge of the hour markers. So it has this very nice it's kind of hard to see from the video itself, but it adds a nice little depth and dimension to the face of the watch. If you have it tilted nicely on the side, you can see the hour markers pop out very nicely forward towards the viewer, but also the sort of railroading around the outer edges sort of falls back in place while the front of the dial sort of pops out towards you, and it's actually a very, very neat effect. So moving on from the dial now, we're going to go ahead and talk about the bezel. The bezel itself is a I believe the manufacturer also says it's a brown bezel. It does look a little bit dark for the bezel. But overall, still a very, very nice, a very, very beautiful bezel. As I've shown you with the sort of glow in the dark features, it's luminous all around the bezel, on these little indices, on these dots, the Arabic numerals. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and adds a nice sort of complements the dial very well. The bezel itself is a unidirectional bezel. As you can see, only shifts to the left, does not shift to the right, so it can only go counterclockwise. And I'll go ahead and turn that all the way around, reset that back to the 12 o'clock position. As this is a Seamaster, it is a diver's watch, so you do have that unidirectional bezel for tracking elapsed time. So you can shift that sort of peridot from the top all the way to the minute hand, and be able to track the elapsed time from there on, the indices being 5-minute increments, of course, and the Arabic numerals taking over the even amounts of the 10, 20s, and 30s, and so on and so forth, and you'll be able to track elapsed time. The thing about it being the bezel being a unidirectional bezel is just for the safety measure of, let's just say if you were actually diving, you would want to track if you have your oxygen tank, just saying, if you have your oxygen tank at a certain amount, you will want to track it nice and precisely. You don't want to accidentally bump it into something and then track your elapsed time incorrectly. But that's just an extreme case. If you're just a normal person, you'll probably be tracking other elapsed time things, maybe how fast you run a mile, how long it'll take you to get from meeting to meeting. Who knows what you do in your daily life, but that's just one thing that you can do with this watch. So we're gonna go ahead and move on now. The width between the lugs is 20 millimeters. It is not a stainless steel watch, it's actually a titanium watch. So this case is nice and nicely crafted in a titanium. It is a 42 millimeter case diameter. So from an index finger to my thumb here, that's 42 millimeters in diameter. Let me show you that side profile of that watch. It actually wouldn't sit too high off the wrist. Another thing that's nice about that sort of flat dome crystal, it keeps that sort of profiling nice and clean. Let me show you the other side as well. Nicely polished, or just nicely brushed along the lugs, and on the other side as well, nicely polished throughout. All right, so moving on to the crown now. The crown itself is just a screw down crown. As I mentioned, at the 6 o'clock position, you're looking at water resistance of 300 meters or 1,000 feet, and that's when the crown is nice and intact. So we're gonna go ahead and unscrew that counterclockwise. And then in the standard position is where you can wind the watch. About 15 to 20 winds is all you need to get the watch started once more. Pulling the crown out to the next position. Oops. will allow you to adjust the date, or not the date, but the time. So bidirectionally, you can adjust, set the time however you like. Of course, as with most watches, the seconds hand will stop at the position that you've pulled the crown out to the final position in. And that allows for precise time settings, such as to an atomic clock on a line. You can set them down to the exact seconds. And then pressing the crown back in once more, we'll start that seconds hand. And always make sure screw the crown nice and tight in against the case, as you want to keep your watch water resistant. And once again, that's 300 meters or the 1,000 feet. You're probably wondering what this is up here, as if you're probably all watch experts. This is the helium escape valve. So if you actually go do deep sea diving with this watch, as you resurface through a gas chamber, you obviously have to depressurize, and that depressurizing gases have helium. That's why they call it helium escape valve, because they've noticed that back very long ago, that helium could actually get into the watch and actually pop that crystal out just from the sheer pressure of the helium getting into the watch. So this escape valve actually, when there's a certain pressure built into the watch, that valve will actually let out, that helium escape valve will actually let out that excess gas and protect your watch when you're resurfacing from that gas chamber. All right. Moving on to the strap now. So this is actually very cool, very unique strap. It is they call a mesh strap, but it's also in that sort of brown coloration with tinges of gray and in a two-stripe pattern that sort of complement that sort of brown coloration for the watch. So let me actually go ahead and try to show you full view here, so you can see how that strap looks with the dial. Tang buckle, which is here with the Omega symbol on there. Of course, this is made out of titanium as well. Actually, the watch being made out of titanium makes it wears extremely light. For it being a 42 millimeter, it actually doesn't feel like a very heavy watch. You can see the Naiad lock. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but I believe it's called the Naiad lock, which is a specialized lock that Omega has made for this back locking plate, that it keeps everything in correct orientation, so you don't have this text shifted in a different direction. Again, mention of the 300 meters or 1,000 feet of the water resistance. That's to cover some identifying information here, but I want to show you back here the sort of 777 logo printed at the 6 o'clock position there. So pretty cool stuff. Also, one quick thing I wanted to show you guys is the case that this watch comes in. Very cool case. The Omega 007 is this nice sort of fox leather case held by hinges on the side here, and opens up like almost like a documents case. So pretty cool case for this watch. All right, now let me actually go ahead and show you this watch on my wrist now. So there's a watch on the wrist. As you can see, very beautiful watch. As I said, it's so simple with that sort of broad arrow at the 6 o'clock position. It's just all these small touches that make this watch just so much better. Again, broad arrow at the 6 o'clock position makes that text sort of pop and a little more refreshing and unique. The sort of dome bezel helping giving that depth to the dial of the watch, and just the overall coloration and just complements of tones from the titanium to the strap with the gray, small hinges of the yellow, sort of the yellow creamy color matching with the bezel and the hour markers. And I do have to show you again the sort of glow in the dark feature, just because it's just absolutely unique and just looks absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to end the video off with this luminosity on my wrist. So let that focus in a sec. All right, so if you're interested in this watch or any other watch for the lowest possible price, check out our website, jazztime.com. We have the lowest prices guaranteed. We offer 2-day shipping. We offer 2-day shipping, and if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys soon.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.